is approximately 2,000 stars. And at least 5% of those are similar to the sun and might be expected to have planets and perhaps life. That's just down the street, around the corner. This work by Marjorie, and I just did a column for the MUFON Journal about a really terrible piece of work done by a big astronomy writer who says she built one model. You got everything wrong about the Hill case and the Roswell incident, all in one article. It must have taken some effort to do that. The bottom. The story is told in this book, Captured. We're almost out, but there's a pre-order blank out there. The books you'll get will be signed by both of us. This tells about the star map work, the attacks on the star map. The noisy, nasty negativists are full of baloney. We're going to set up that delicatessen here pretty quick. This is only 3 years old. Kathleen did 85% of the work. My name is first, I know. The reason is the publisher said, it'll sell more, Stan. Now, what do you say to that? You do want the book to sell, so okay. But I want to publicly acknowledge that Kathy did 85% of the work. I took on the name. Good. I talked about the star map work, and I take on the debunkers about it. I'm the hitman in this case. And I wish we had a bunch more to sell you, but we don't. Here, we have them. Now, there's Kathy, and she's here. Kathy, you in here somewhere? Oh, there she is. Okay. Now, the important thing is that Marjorie Fish's work pinpoints where these guys probably originated. And I want to tell you just a little bit about the two stars, Zeta 1 and Zeta 2 Reticuli. Can't see them from here. They're in the constellation of Reticulum, which means the net in Latin. Got to go below the equator to see them. But here we sit on a planet around the sun. The next star over from the sun is 4.3 light years away, Alpha Centauri. It's a good ways. These two stars, Zeta 1 and Zeta 2 Reticuli, happen to be the closest pair of sun-like stars to each other in all the neighborhood. They're only an eighth of a light year apart from each other. They're 30 times closer to each other than the sun is to the next star over. We're on the boonies. These guys got next door neighbors. They're only 39 light years from here, 39.3. And most intriguing, they're a billion, some say 3, but I'm very conservative, a billion years older than the sun. Now, do you think that somebody with a little head start on us might have some technology a bit more advanced than ours? And that's the place where the noisy negativists come a cropper. They can't imagine that somebody out there could know something we don't know. We've discovered it all, haven't we? Every generation says that and is wrong. Every single one. And the book is full of many examples of this, but it's kind of intriguing to look at how many of you don't have a computer at home? Now that tells you something about 2 people down here. And what if I'd asked that question 40 years ago? Everybody, nobody would have a computer at home. We've come a long way. Well, those of you into computers know that the number of transistors on a chip doubles every year or 2. Doubles every year or 2. That's a very rapid pace. Doesn't sound like it at the beginning, then you start thinking about that for a minute. And my computer guy tells me you can get a a terabyte hard drive pretty cheap these days, Stan. Terabytes! That's thousands of gigabytes, which is thousands of megabytes, which is thousands of kilobytes. Wow! I think I had 64K on the first machine. But you get the point. That progress comes from doing things differently in an unpredictable way. The future is not an extrapolation of the past. You have to change how you do things. This laser is not just a better light bulb, entirely different physics. So I want to go into that a little bit. And you say, what in the world is that ungainly monster? Well, between 1956 and 1959, I worked at the General Electric Aircraft Nuclear Propulsion Department in Cincinnati, Ohio. Now, you'd think this might be a few professors and a few grad students, wouldn't you, if you were in academia? Sorry, we spent $100 million that year. We employed 3,500 people full-time, 1,100 of them engineers and scientists. It wasn't a few professors and a few grad students. And $100 million was a lot of money back then. It isn't now. I mean, everybody's got $100 million. But this would be the engine, jet engine. You bring air in, get it heated in a reactor, comes out at about 1,800 degrees and goes out through the turbine, and you have unlimited range. Can run for thousands of hours without refueling. You have to change a crew, right? Well, you're not cooking them, but anyway, this is what a real system would look like. The reactor in there, less than 5 feet in diameter. Power level about 300 megawatts, and we'll give you some comparison in a minute. This is a nuclear ramjet in the early 60s. This would be used naturally to carry nuclear weapons. It'd be launched from a B-52, and you could launch the ramjet, and you could reach any place in the world and drop a nuclear weapon there. Anyway, they ran ground tests. The program was canceled, as was the ANP program. These are some artist sketches of nuclear rocket engines. We built them too. Here's a man to give you an idea of the size. The biggest one would be about 5,000 megawatts. Grand Coulee Dam produces 2,000 megawatts. It's a little larger. This is less than 7 feet in diameter. You think, well, that's just drawing, Stan. Oh, no. This is the general idea. Very cold liquid hydrogen comes in, goes around, goes through the reactor, goes out at 4,000 degrees. This somebody's dream? No, we built them. We tested them on the ground. I worked on this one, that's why I show it to you, for Westinghouse, reactors in here. You put these all on railroad cars because they get quite radioactive. You want to move them back to the test facility, to the assembly facility, without cooking people. This is out in the desert, not far from Area 51. Power level here was only 1,100 megawatts, half the power of Grand Coulee Dam. Very exciting moment in my life. We're listening in Pittsburgh, where they're broadcasting to us. As the test goes on, the temperature, the pressure, the power level, everything's nominal, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. The question was, how long would it last before we kick the fuel elements out the back? It went the full 60 minutes. Triumph. Now the program was canceled, but what the heck? Nobody knew what to do with the nuclear rocket engine. No guts, no leadership. Now this one was built by Aerojet General. This is a flight type model. Tank of liquid hydrogen up here. This was downward firing. This was only 1,000 megawatts. Area 51 is back that way. Here was the granddaddy, one of the Phoebus ones. The Phoebus 2B, the next model. this big, 4,400